Hello, Nigeria. Hello, Africa. Good evening, Nigeria. Good evening, Africa. Good evening, United Kingdom. Good evening, Europe. Good evening, Australia. Good evening, Austria. Good evening, Canada. Good evening, Toronto. Good evening, Kenya. Good evening, South Africa. Good evening, Poland. Good evening, Luxembourg. Good evening, Amsterdam. Good evening, America. Good evening, United Kingdom. Good evening to everyone across the globe of the world that are listening to me at this time. My name is Ibironke Olasombo Onwoluwa, popularly called Yeye Omigbemileke. It is my pleasure to be with you at this time. And before I proceed, according to the instruction of that my sister from Trinidad and Tobago, let me say good evening, Trinidad and Tobago. Yes, I am very, very happy to be with us at this point of the day. Yes, how have you been? How is your family? How is your career? How is work? How are the kids? How are you doing? Yes, today I want to talk on something that you will need to really, really look into and pay attention. Yes, what is it? Yeah, what I want to talk about today borders on sacrifice. 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 Well, African people are notable for sacrifice. In fact, a lot of religions of the world that has been able to penetrate and gain ground in Africa had always seen Africans as people that uh, as people that are full of sacrifices. Some people will say we are not just fetish, we are sacrifice people. Well, today I want to make a brief uh, clarification on that, at least as an ambassador of my heritage. Yes, I am proudly an African. I am proudly a Yoruba person. I am proudly Onisese, and I am proudly Olorisha. Yes, from the southwestern part of Africa. When you look at every religion, yes, you will see traces of sacrifice. Everybody makes sacrifice at one point or the other. Every religion makes sacrifice at one point or the other. The question is, what is sacrifice? Sacrifice can aptly be described as something that you do to your advantage, but which is not completely convenient for you. Yes, so if you go by that definition, you will know that almost everybody in the world makes one or two sacrifice. When you look at the Bible, the Lord Jesus Christ came for the sins of the world, and he was killed as a sacrifice. Yes, for the redemption of the world. Redemption, that is what we were told. His death is a sacrifice. So you will say that in Christianity you have sacrifice. In Christianity they also give tithes, give offerings. Some of these things are not readily convenient for people to do, but they do them anyway in order to elicit some blessings for themselves. So the capitality of Christianity is based on sacrifice. Yes. If you go into Islam, you have sacrifice. It never ceases to amaze me when some Islamic cleric abuses those of us that are into the traditional line and call us elebo. I still saw a comment somebody made today and said elebo on a particular page belonging to somebody else on Facebook. I wanted to reply, but I just felt no point, let me walk away. The Eid al-Fitr celebration is a huge sacrifice. Come to think of it, you slaughter a ram, you make some incantation, prayer incantation, and you kill the animal. What have you done? You have just offered a sacrifice, just like the Christians do. Now, when you go to the land of Israel, yes, you will notice that very low percent of Israelis are Christians, despite the fact that the story of Jesus Christ, the Lord Jesus Christ, is coming from that environment. Now, what do you notice? They are basically Judaists. That is, they practice Judaism. And in Judaism, every step of the way is punctuated by sacrifice. You have all kinds of offering. There are some that goes with doves, some with dogs, some with rams, some with cow, and all like that. And if you look at the history of the Judaism, studying the Old Testament of the Bible, you will notice that when they divided the land of Israel, a particular tribe was not given anything, and that tribe, they are the Levites. They are the ones that are priests and priesthood. They hold the priesthood office. So they have no portion in the land of Israel, but the Lord is their portion. Technically, they eat at the altar. So the remnants, after all the sacrifices here and there, they are the one that eats the animals that are used in the sacrifice. And the sacrifice, you have daily ones, you have weekly ones, you have monthly ones, you have yearly ones, you have Passover, and on like that. So you can see traces of sacrifice even in Judaism that gave birth to Christianity. Moving forward, when you move towards the Indians, you will notice that they practice Hinduism, and Hinduism does a lot of sacrifice. There are some that are even unbelievably human. Now, when you now come to Africa, oh, Africa, my Africa, yes, our ancestors worship various deities, gods, orisha, whatever you call them, depending on your geographical location. When you go to South Africa, the practice is there. When you come to West Africa, the practice is there. When you go to North Africa, East Africa, on and on like that, you will see that Africans are people that are very, very close to the nature, and they are close to their ancestors. A lot of Africans, right from the onset, are rooted in their individual traditional practice. Now, coming to think of it, you as a mariner, you discover that your birth, your origin is associated with water, is associated with the marine. You are either connected to the river, or you are connected to the sea, or you are connected to the ocean, or you are connected to lakes, or you are connected to some communal rivers, community rivers, rivers within your locality. Now you notice that you are connected to that, and the whole essence of it is you make your sacrifice, you connect to your source through your sacrifice. Of course, there are various things that are used in that sacrifice, and there are various reasons why the sacrifices are done. Sometimes you do the sacrifice to say thank you for being there for me, thank you for supporting me, thank you for blessing me with a newborn baby, thank you for making a way for me when all hope seems lost, thank you for the gift of life, thank you for being my support, thank you for not allowing the enemy to have the upper hand in my life. Thank you in different ways. And sometimes you make the sacrifice in order to make a request. A lot of people do not know that you make sacrifice to say thank you to the orishas that follows you. Yes, we do it. We equally make sacrifice to the orishas in order to ask, to make a request on a particular thing, in order to ask for their support, for their protection, for their provision, for their unceasing watch over you, your household, family, and on and on. You make sacrifice to overcome certain battles. You make sacrifice to win certain pedigree of situation in your life, in your community, in your state, in your environment. Yes, a lot of people do not know that you can make sacrifice within your community, as in there's something going on, you want it corrected, and you make the sacrifice to push it away. Now, as a mariner, as somebody from the marine kingdom, because we are not connected to the water, most of our sacrifices goes into the water, but it is not always into the water. Sometimes we make divination, Ifa divination, for instance, in West Africa, yes, in Yoruba land, we make Ifa divination to know where to put the sacrifice so that it can be readily accepted. Sometimes the sacrifices are made to the orishas, sometimes they are made to the ancestors, sometimes they are made to the Iyami, sometimes they are made to the land, sometimes they are made to the door, sometimes they are made to the mountains, and what have you, depending on the guidance you have from your divination. Because you don't just jump and say you want to do this. You can jump and say, I want to say thank you. You can jump and say, okay, I feel like doing this. But in most cases, we allow ourselves to be fully guided. I hope I've been able to convince you. I've been able to talk to you. I've been able to expatiate to you the place of sacrifice in the life of Africa is very, very important. You don't want a situation, you make sacrifice for its change. You want a situation, you make sacrifice for its change as well. You have a request, you make a sacrifice to have your request fulfilled. Yes, my name remains Ibirunke Olasunbo Owoluwa, popularly called Yeye Omigbemileke, across the globe of the world. You can follow me on TikTok, Olokun Priestess, and you can equally follow me on Facebook as Ibirunke Olasunbo Owoluwa. I am the CEO of Omigbemileke Temple, seated in the city of Ota, the city of Iyami in Ogun State, southwestern part of Nigeria. You can reach me on +234 813 5122 750. I take that again, WhatsApp only, +234 813 5122 750. I shall be waiting to hear from you for your Ifa divination or for any of your appeasement or even sacrifices. Do have a lovely night. Bye.